against Jaden? What is each guy doing well, and just how are they progressing?
Yeah, I mean, just right now, it's for each one of those guys, it's just themselves and self-improvement every day and striving to get better, and they've all worked really, really hard. I mean, it's a great room. Every single one of those guys comes to work every single day prepared, ready to go, and I think they're all doing a really, really good job. I mean, there have been some days that have been better than others, but obviously as you stack these installs, especially for some younger guys, those things can run together at times, but I think everybody's had a great attitude. They've attacked it, they've supported each other, and they're doing a nice job.
What was that conversation like with Lincoln about switching roles?
I mean, it was to the point. You know, obviously my background is in quarterback play, and you know, whatever coach feels like is best for the organization, I'm certainly going to do. And certainly the opportunity for me personally to work with Coach Riley, you know, side by side with him, and the opportunity for me to learn and grow in this role was just a tremendous opportunity for me personally. And then obviously working with the inside receivers the last couple of years, there's a lot of interaction with the quarterbacks, and I felt like I had a pretty good relationship with those guys beforehand, and they've certainly been a lot of fun to work with.
He's so hands-on with that position. Were you surprised at all that he kind of had that conversation with you?
I mean, I think, you know, for him, obviously he's going to continue to be hands-on. This will be something too, like whatever role and whatever thing he wants on each day. And we do a good job each day communicating and organizing as far as, you know, how we're going to do the meetings and whatnot. So this gives him obviously an opportunity to go out there and venture and see other groups, see other position meetings when he sees fit. But, you know, certainly he'll be extremely hands-on with them moving forward. And I'm excited to be a part of that group and part of that unit, and you know, assist in any way I'm needed.
Miller has obviously been around for quite a while in this program, but as obviously he talked about how this offseason was a little different. In what ways have you kind of worked with him, or what are you focusing in maybe most importantly with him?
With Miller?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, Miller is, you know, an extremely intelligent quarterback. And the thing with Miller too, like the entire time that he's been at USC, and I've witnessed this obviously from being a part of the receiver group, but you know, Miller pours into his teammates. You know, he's got really, really good leadership skills. You know, this thing is extremely important. He cares a lot about his football. You know, that's one thing I'll say about him too. He's very, very selfless. So, you know, I've seen a lot of the same characteristics that he had before, and now obviously a little bit different role, and coming off, you know, a tremendous performance in the bowl game. Nothing has changed for him. He's continuing to work hard, continue to strive to get better each and every day, and for me, being an extra set of eyes for him, and you know, certainly from a fundamental standpoint, you know, he's a guy that works really hard at that, and getting the opportunity to work with him in that regard too has been a lot of fun. But his approach, you know, he's approached this thing right from the day that we got here, and he's just continuing to grow now in his new role. He's done a great job.
What can you tell USC fans about Jaden Maiava's game?
Jaden, you know, has, you know, if you watch the UNLV games from last year, and for the people that have had a chance to see spring ball, you know, Jaden's got a big arm. Jaden can make all the different throws. Jaden, like Miller, this is really, really important to him. He's a great teammate. I think that's the thing that's awesome about the entire quarterback room, is all those guys are tremendous teammates. But, you know, Jaden's got a big arm, and, you know, he loves the game of football. He's passionate about it. He's a competitor. And, you know, he's done a really good job the last few days. He's starting to hear his voice a little more, you know, vocalizing with his teammates. And but, you know, he's a good football player that is striving to get better each and every day. And, you know, we got a long road to go, but he's got the right attitude and the right mindset. And he loves being a Trojan. I think that's the thing about all these guys, all those guys in our room. I mean, they love USC. I mean, they absolutely love it here. And they take a lot of pride in this program, and they're all going to be great representatives of this program moving forward.
Miller mentioned facing off with you on the pickleball court.
Yes.
He said your game needs a little bit of work.
It does need some work. The good thing was Miller was actually on my team.
Okay.
So we were against, you know, we had Gage and Jacoby Lane were our opponents, and okay. I think we won 11-9. I might have been responsible for 2 points. If it was close at all, I'd make sure I deferred to Miller. He's got a pretty good game, but you know, I'm planning on losing a few pounds. There's some pickleball courts in Palos Verdes. I'm gonna get back out there, get in shape, and I'm gonna get my game going for sure. Though.
Seems like we always hear about Miller competing at various things.
Yeah.
You see that competition come out.
I mean, Miller is definitely a fierce competitor. And Miller, you know, like a lot of quarterbacks, you know, he's a perfectionist. He wants everything done exactly right. Now, there's a reason that we practice, right? If everything was going to be perfect from day one, you just roll the ball out, you know, the first Sunday in September. but there's a process to this, and he's done a really, really good job with some of these younger guys, some of the newcomers, and getting them, acclimated with the offense. But yeah, he's a tremendous competitor, and all the guys in the room are competitive dudes that have a lot of pride in their craft and really want to do well.
Luke, after seeing working with the receivers last year, do you sense that almost the experience, being behind Caleb and working with so many of the backups, Jacoby and James and those guys, has put Miller in a really good position entering this year, that he has that chemistry?
Oh, 1,000%. And you saw that happen in the Holiday Bowl. That's one thing I give Miller a lot of credit was, even when he was in that backup role, he had a front seat in a leadership position. And he did. He took guys like Jacoby and Deuce and helped those guys, watch extra film with those guys, and he truly poured into his teammates. So there was very little surprise to me that the chemistry, that you guys saw last December showed, and we still have a long way to go. We have a lot of work to do moving forward. We got still a lot of progress to make, but certainly his leadership and his ability to pour into his teammates definitely shows every day. And they recognize that, and that's leadership too. And when you do pour into your teammates and you help them, those guys want to follow you. Those guys want to make plays for you. So for sure, you can definitely sense that.
I know you talked about things being kind of business as usual for him these last couple months, but is there anything new you maybe learned about him, especially working more closely with him?
Miller?
Since Holiday?
I kind of had a good gauge of who he was as a human being. Obviously, first and foremost, the most important thing at that position is that you got a guy that's got tremendous character, and we've been fortunate to have that here at USC, and Miller's going to continue to carry that on. He is a feisty competitor, and he is certainly one that wants every play to be right. And obviously, as an offense, from an execution standpoint, that's what we strive for. But there's a process to get to that point. But he's. I knew he was very smart. I knew he cared about this thing. So really, there's been no surprises as far as who he is as a person and how he approaches the game. But he's been a lot of fun to work with, and he's extremely smart. One thing with Miller too is, as a coach, and especially in this system, there's so much communication between coach and quarterback, and Lincoln does such an incredible job teaching this football game to these guys, communicating them. Okay, this is the play we're running. This is why we're running it. But just the feedback that you get from Miller and the rest of these quarterbacks is really important. And that part's getting better and better every single day.
See one more? I think it's the first time Lincoln's had a QB coach and he's been a head coach. How does that evaluation process work out on the recruiting trail between you two?
I've helped with, because there's certain times of the year where Coach Riley can't be on the road and can't evaluate. So I've had a hand in it, these last couple of years since I got here. And now, obviously, with being in the position that I'm in, that'll be my sole focus in recruiting. So. Yeah, a lot of communication though. When I'm on the road, if I go see a guy, I'll call him on my ride to the next stop, and we're always talking through the different prospects and whatnot. So, yeah.
Thank you, Coach.